Hi everyone, Soul017 here. Let me get through this like usual. Don't in the picture, non pay video. Alright, okay. So, last time we left off, I basically got adopted by Kukui in Alola. I defeated Sergeant Surge. Yeah. And Ash, Misty, and Brock went on to the SS Anne. And I didn't go on there. And it's been a while, so I did say they're at the tentacle part. So, that's where basically this is going to take place. I just need to set up everything, so give me a minute. Okay, I'm getting my laptop on, everyone. And I'm going to get the notes. I basically have played my Pokemon Fire Red game. Basically, I got further into it past that. I'm on the grass gym leader in it. But, yeah. So, I basically did kind of forgot I basically had all that. You know, I did forget it. I was like, okay, so yeah. Then I realized it when I basically looked back at my list, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. I have all this to do. Oh boy. So yeah. So just give me a few more minutes. Okay. So, as I was saying, I got everything set up. The fact is, I don't know how Ash. Well, not Ash. Well, I don't know how to basically get to Celadon City, where it's a psychic gym leader next. I do know how to get to Laverne Town. Yeah, Laverne Town, basically. But, so, in the, game Fire Red, I'm basically trying to get to the city, Celadon, to face against the psychic gym leader. But for some reason, I can't, because the road's closed, and I don't know why. I can go face the grass-type gym leader pretty easily. It's just, I don't understand why I can't just go over and face against one gym leader, but hey. I'm basically gonna go out of order from the anime, I guess. So, anyways, though that's not gonna happen to now, because there's gonna be something happening. A lot of other stuff will happen in this, and maybe me going to this actual city. But I did get all the moves. I did, fix them up for each Pokemon. So yeah, every Pokemon's at level 30. So, as I am basically saying, let's get started in this what if. Okay, so, this is part 4 of what if I was isekai into Pokemon. Here we go. So last time we left off is, I came back to where the electric type gym leader was, Lieutenant Surge, in Viridian. Vermilion City, whatever. Viridian, of course. Vermilion. There we go. Vermilion, basically. City. And I basically would keep walking. As if I basically, thinking to myself, okay, so, if I'm right, I can go into Diglett's cave, and then I can basically then go down that tunnel and catch a Diglett if I want to, or try to basically train my Pokemon into getting stronger. But they already are strong enough, as they're all level 30, I see, as I'm holding the Rotom phone in my hand. I think to myself, though, I can basically now buy. Well, not buy. I can get a Diglett, but that's not what I want. Which I sigh again to myself. And I try to figure out, what I want. And it's just kind of annoying because, well, I'm basically, as I said, trying to figure out where I can go. So, while I'm basically walking to Diglett's cave, I see a man with a Machop, destroying rocks. Or, well, destroying rocks and basically trying to get the land leveled. Which I would just blink. I'm like, okay. I wonder what he's doing. So I go over and to the old man, I ask him, sir, what are you doing? And the old man looks at me, he goes like, oh, hello there, young man. Are you a Pokemon trainer? I'm like, yes, sir, I am. Are you trying to build a land here? A house? He goes, yes. Yes, I am. Which I just nod. I'm like, okay, so is there anything special about this land? He was like, well, that's in the eye of the beholder, young man. But me and my Machop here can get this done relatively quickly. It may take a while, but we'll get it done. I just blink and I look as I see plenty of rocks around him. And I look at back at the old man. I'm like, would you want any help, sir? He blinks at me. He goes, you want to help me? I'm like, yes. I mean, you need help. There's a lot of work here to do. I have a full set of Pokemon, and I can probably help with some of my Pokemon gain their attack up for training, and I could probably even help them work on some of their moves to make sure they don't waste any energy in their attacks. Which he will think about it. He goes, well, how about this? Me and my Machop here will take a break and go and rest for a while, since we've been at this for quite a bit. And you can destroy the rocks here with the help of your Pokemon, and whatever you find within these area, you can keep. He will lean down and whisper, he goes like, and make sure that you, keep whatever you find when you destroy the rocks. Which I just blink, and before I said anything, he calls out to his Machop and leave. Which I just blink, I'm like, alright then, whatever. So, I basically bring out Rex, which is my Charmeleon, Rose, which is my Pidgeotto, I forgot to change basically what it is now. Okay, but it's Raticate. Oh wait, no, I did change it. Raticate, Butterfree, Nidorino, Primeape, Poliwhirl, Gravel, Golbat, Pikachu, and Gyarados. I'm like, looking at all of them, I'm like, okay, so, here's the thing. We are going to, how about this old man that left, taking down some rocks, destroying them. I figured we can use this for training purposes to gain your strength up and help you learn some of your moves better, to get a better understanding of them, and to not waste as much energy on them when in battle. So Rex would just nod and basically grin. He's like, sweet. So, we can get started? Which Rose would just sigh, like, do I have to? My feathers are gonna hurt later. I'm just sighing, like, look, you can use some of your moves, and if you want, we can try to learn some other moves from other regions. But for now, let's try to do the best we can to help out the old man, okay? Which every Pokemon would nod. Inosuke would pump up his fist. He goes, yeah! I can try to get Master Focus Energy! I just sigh and just laugh a bit. Which Gravel would just blink and just say, "Really, Inosuke?" He just huffs. So, I would just look at all of them. I'm like, also, for the ones who don't have any nicknames, sorry for not having any nicknames right now. Kind of hard to come up with some. Which they would just blink and just shrug, like, we're okay with it. Would be nice to have one, though. As the Gyarados looks at me, I'm like, you could try basically you could try to learn a new move if you want to, Gyarados. As Gyarados will say, "Are you sure? Which move should I try to learn?" Like, well, you got Dragon Rage, so, and Leer. Can you try to learn? Trying to think here. As I start thinking of what move he can learn, as I basically know some Pokemon can learn move sets from TMs, HMs. But like I said, that's in a video game, and in anime they can just learn whatever. So, for this case, I will basically look up for the Pokédex on my Roton phone. As I look at basically which move basically I want Gyarados to learn, I would say, well, you're a water type, and basically in other regions, well, in the video games, basically you can fly. So let's get a flying type move. As he blinks, he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah. How about Aerial Ace?" Which Gyarados just blinks. Aerial Ace. I'm like, "Yeah. Seems like a good move." Give me a minute, I need to type that out. Basically, Gyarados would say, "How would I get Aerial Ace then?" I'm like, "Well, Butterfree and Rose can help you." As he looks at Pidgeotto and Butterfree, as they nod. They can basically try to help you focus on, well, flying type energy. Which Gyarados would basically close its eyes and thinks about it and then nod. He basically can see the advantage of having that as a quick, sneak attack. Or a move that basically no one really suspected Gyarados to have. So, when he nods, he says, "Alright, and what will you be doing?" Me. Well, I'm going to try to see if I can get any new move types. Primate basically has Simon's Toss, Karate Chop, Fury Swipe, and Low Kick. So, I'm going to try to see if I can basically get any other of those move types. Which, basically, Primate slash Inosuke was said, "Yeah, I can help you, Soul. Let's do this!" As he grabs my arm and drags me over. So, that's what happens. We basically help dismantle the rocks and everything. And they're all doing their own move types, trying to get fully mastered of their moves. Even further, taking less energy, less time. They all know basically they all know what I'm trying to do for them. Trying to get them to the best of their abilities. Maximize their potential in their current forms. They know they're going to take a while to gain to their next evolution. So, while that is happening, Golbat will use Wing Attack on a rock, and Pikachu would have used Iron Tail. As when that happens, where they basically explode the rocks, there's like items in there, in which Pikachu's like, "Soul, over here, hey!" Even Golbat would have say, "Soul, found something." And what I was basically learning from Primate was, well, seismic toss with a rock. It was taking me a while to do so. I had my shirt off and everything. Dust is covering me along with scrapes. As I look at them like, "You guys found something?" everyone comes around, including Gyarados, as what we see is, well, treasures that I can sell later. Which I blink, I'm like, gold nugget? A star and stardust? Holy crap, stuff is worth a lot of money. In which Pikachu is like, so, do you think we should get anything with them? I'm like, well, the old man needs this money. I mean, I normally would take it. A lot of it, but... well, I'm in a new world and I technically need the funds. Which they all will nod. But then Rose would say, but it ain't right to take everything from the old man. Which I nod again. I'm like, okay, we'll take what we need. Which they, agreed. So, here's what I do. I take 3 Stardust, one star, and 2 gold nuggets. So, after, that's what I will take. So, after basically we destroyed a lot of the rocks, I basically, learned Seismic's Toss and Silent Relief. I basically get everyone, back into their Pokeballs, and the old man and Machop come back. I'm like, hey, sir. Pikachu's on my shoulder. He's like, I forgot to mention that. He's like, yeah, man. How'd everything go? I'm like, pretty good. My Pokemon learned a lot, basically, learned a lot about their moves already. So thanks again for letting me, help you. He's like, no problem. Did you find anything interesting? I'm like, yeah, I did. Thanks again for letting me take whatever I found. He's like, no problem. You must be on your journey again now. I'm like, yep. See ya. So, I basically will leave the area, and what happens next is, him and Machop will go basically back into the area where it is, the land that they're working on, but then they see a pile of items there. He goes up, he sees bags of stardust, stars, and gold nuggets. He realized, I took some, not all, but I found, as he just chuckles. So, I will basically see Diglett's cave, and I would just say, nah, don't need that now. Let's see. There's Pokemon down this way, and I see, and there should be some trainers. If I'm correct, there's a Snorlax down on that, past that route. What was it again? What was that route called again? Something to do with the water something? Give me a minute. Okay, I found the routes. Okay. My mistake. Okay. So yeah, I found the routes, so as I was thinking, Route 11 has trainers and escape rope. Plus, there's also an item finder by Professor Oak's helper in Fire Red game. As Pikachu goes like, really? I'm like, yeah. But let's do a turnaround. Which Pikachu's like, what do you mean turnaround? We're gonna go through Diglett's cave after we take down the trainers to get the item finder. We're then going to go down to the route to get certain items. Down each route. After we leave Diglett's cave, which we should be back on Route 2. So we go back through the Viridian Forest, through basically, through the Viridian Forest to Pure City, about to Route 2, and then we can go back from Mount Moon. But that's what I would have done if I didn't have a fast travel point. So, which basically Pikachu's like, so what are we gonna do? Well, Ash should be on an island right now, where there's a resort where everyone's having fun, and there and robotic Pokemon there. Which Pikachu blinks. He was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yep." I don't know how. Well, they got on there with the SS and then Team Rocket attacked. Which Pikachu nods. He's like, "Okay, go on." Then, after they sunk down to the ocean, came back up, they got onto a raft with Team Rocket, and well, they arrived onto an island separated from their Pokemon. Which I'm trying to figure out. What was the island with the robots on? Because if I wanted to follow them, I should have gotten on the SS Anne. Because this they went this way then, after that, they basically would be dealing for Tentacruel. Well, we would have been dealing for Tentacruel stuff left. Got back to the mainland, and there was like Maiden's Point, which then there was a Ghastly there. And after that, well, they should be a psychic battle too. As I blink, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely going there now. But she's like, huh? Wait, where are we going? Oh, we're gonna go face a psychic type gym leader. Or we can go to Celadon City instead of Sapphire? Oh, man, I need to try to say the name right. Give me a minute. Saffron City. But for all that complicated situation to get to Saffron City, we could go back up to where the water type gym leader, well, where Misty's home is, and God, I can't remember that name. Starts with a C, instead of an S. Celadon? Yeah, Celadon City. Which Pikachu was like, "You're really bad at names, are you?" I'm like, yes. I really have problems with remembering some names. In which Pikachu just sighs. So, what are we gonna do? Which I just kind of shrug and be like, well, I want to wait till Ash deals with her. Which he's like, huh? Why? He goes like, right now she's a little bit crazy at the moment. The gym leader. Which he goes, how crazy? Oh, simple. She'll basically put you in a trance if you don't give her a good fight. In which Pikachu's like, you're joking, right? I shake my head no. He's like, yeah, let's wait till after Ash deals with that. So, which one now? I'm like, well, my electric friend. We're gonna go face the gym type gym leader. She has a lot of poisons, so I look at Route 11 as I smirk. Time to go beat some trainers. Which Pikachu's cheeks sparking with electricity. He's like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm not gonna bore you with what I did on Route 11 besides facing all the trainers, but yeah. It was not even good for them. It was like all KOs winning. So while that was happening, let's say this. In the Earth that I'm on, in the Pokemon world, inside the Earth, a Pokemon opens up its eyes as it, sees within its eye me. And it growls. It says, Arceus brought someone from another world here to defeat me? Ugh, he is foolish. A creation of Mew, like him, thinking it can defeat me by bringing someone else from another world. How foolish can this god be? But how would I deal with it? This human. His aura is strong. Yes, but not as strong as Ash Ketchum was back then. So, as basically ponders, as it remembers a Pokemon that was fast and quick, stronger than most of Ash's Pokemon, and it used Bond Evolution, as Ash, and this Pokemon said, "We won't lose to you." And it was the Pokemon that nearly defeated him. As a basically Apocalypse opens up its eyes, as in the darkness you can see a glowing grin appeared on its face, as it says, "That will do." So, it uses those powers of creation and start to make a Pokemon. And in the darkness, all this dark energy is forming into a light as it takes form, and, well, it is a Pokemon. As this Pokemon is on its knees, it says, "How may I serve you?" As Apocalypse would tell it, "Go up to the surface, find a boy named Soul. You can find him due to his aura." As it basically will show what I look like with Pikachu on my shoulder. As he, at the base of the Pokemon, will nod. And so, with that, it teleports away with dark energy and left. As Apocalypse says, "I cannot wait to see how far you fall, trainer." Give me a minute. Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, everyone, I am thinking about bringing Shadow Pokemon into this What If series. So, yeah, if you never played Pokemon Coliseum or Pokemon Shadow, with Giratina, not Giratina, Palkia, Dark Shadow form version of it, on the front cover of it, then, yeah. I haven't played that, though, so I'm going to probably watch a walkthrough of it, since the game's been out for a very long time. Probably no one makes it anymore. Well, no one has it or makes it anymore. And I don't know where I can find it, but yeah. So, anyways, back to it. As when this Pokemon would appear on top of a mountain, as it will basically blink and it says, "So, this is the surface. How annoying. Now, I'll need to find this Soul, this Pokemon trainer, for my master. I cannot allow him to interfere. For that would be very bad for us." So, it would jump off of the, mountain and try to track me down. So, after that, we go back to me, who finish off the last trainer on Route 11, smirking, gain money transfer into my Pokédex, and walking, to Diglett's cave. As Pikachu says, "So we're going back through here? We're going through here?" I'm like, "Yep. Got to. Don't know the move Fly yet." So, and using fast travel to basically Cerulean. Give me a minute. Need to say the name again. Cerulean City will take quite some time, to get there. So, if I went normal, but fast travel would make it so much more easier, but that's not the point of a journey. Now, is it? Which Pikachu would nod to that. So, while going through Diglett's cave, you face a lot of Diglets and some other Pokemon. Not just Diglett, like Zubats and everything. I do use Gyarados and Poliwhirl for this. Well, I use Poliwhirl mostly because of, if I use Gyarados, there's not enough room for Gyarados. So, while going through there, I do meet a few trainers, defeat them, taking down a lot of rock-type monsters, and yeah. But when I come out, when I'm near out of Diglett's cave, all of a sudden there's an Onix appeared, which I'm like, huh? So I take out basically my Rotom phone, scanned it, and if I remember correctly, in Diglett's cave they're around level 20-ish. Well, level 16 to 20-ish, I believe. Let me double check. Okay, which the Onix is around 20. I just found out it's 12 to 20 for Diglett's cave, which I'm basically like, oh crap. Most of my Pokemon are high tier leveling. So, I basically bring back Poliwhirl. Say thanks for everything, and I look at Pikachu. I'm like, Gravel? He nods. So, bring out Gravel. I'm like, Gravel, use Mud Shot! As Gravel uses Mud Shot, and I imagine that will basically get the Onix speed down, as it basically would go, what the? I can't say nothing! And before he can do anything, I have Gravel use Rock Throw, which he says on it. He grabs a rock and throws it. Due to the fact that it is at level 30, I do believe it's 10 levels higher, so it should take this Pokemon down to half health or near into the red. As I see on the Pokedex, I'm like, okay, go, Pokeball! I throw the Pokeball and, well, it basically hits the Onix, goes into the Pokeball, 1 shake, 2 shake, 3 shake, caught. And now I have an Onix, which is great for me, because I'm like, yes! Got an Onix. In which, basically, Gravel's like, why do you want an Onix if you have me? I'm like, oh, simple. Steelix. In which both Pikachu and Gravel looks at me. Gravel says, I'm not mad at that, actually. I'm like, thanks. So, yeah. So after I pick up the Pokeball, put the Pokeball at my side, even though that's like my 3, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9, 10, my 12th Pokeball, I'm like, I need more belts. He's like, which Pikachu's like, so we're just gonna train every Pokemon. I'm like, yep. That's the plan. So, after getting out of Diglett's cave, we're back on Route 2. Well, we will be soon. So we go past a few basic things. Someone asked me to trade some, Pokemon with one of them, which I don't do that. I gain a, basically, elixir, which then I basically use, had basically Pikachu used Iron Tail on a tree, which cuts right through it. And then we're back on Route 2. I'm like, I'm following most of the video game route, which kind of way more easier than the Pokemon one. I mean, than the anime. Because after we get to the second type gym leader, we're gonna go to Celadon City. So basically, as Pikachu says, so we're gonna go to Saffron City and let Ash deal with him, but deal with the Pokemon train. Well, the Pokemon leader. I'm like, yep. You just want to go there and just see his battle, or battle him. Yeah, pretty much, I do. But she goes, uh-huh. So, let's go then. So yeah, so we get back at Route 2. We go back to the Viridian Forest. And after we do that, hold on, just need to do something real quick. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Just something popped up on my computer. But anyways, as I was saying, well, back in Viridian Forest. After a while, basically traveling in it, I sat down and bring out all my Pokemon. Include the new Onyx. I'm like, alright everyone, I know we're back in Viridian Forest. Those of you who haven't been in here, yeah, we had to travel through here to, get to, well, Pewter City. The reason why we're doing this is because, one, I'm trying to waste some time before we get to anything. Sorry, just had to pause there because again something popped up again on my laptop. But before we get to anything else, which basically Rex be like what? Well, facing the second type gym leader because of I'm trying to basically deal with her after Ash takes care of her, which Radicat will be like, huh? Why? Which Pikachu just says, psychic type equals she can mess up someone's mind or read our minds. Which they blink and just nod slowly and they're like, gotcha. So, we're basically gonna make sure Ash takes care of her so that way she's all fixed up due to whatever problem she has. Rex will ask, I'm like, yep. Which Nidorino like, huh. Well, that's understandable. Which I'd say, yep. Anyways. So, for right now, we're just going to relax and eat. And then we're going to probably start by Pewter City's Pokemon Center. And I'm going to take a, rest there for a bit after. So I give them all their Pokemon food and such. As then all of a sudden, there's this weird sense I have as I start looking around. Pikachu, scarf bandana is glowing slightly, as he's even on edge. He goes, "What's going on? I haven't felt this before in a while." In which I would nod slowly. So I'm like, "Everyone, get ready for a battle. Something's here." As soon as I said that, though, everything goes quiet for a few minutes until someone says, well, I didn't think you could sense me. But it seems you can. Impressive. My master warned me about none of this, but he did not know what you can do. And I see he was right to be wary of you. Which I'm like, who are you? Show yourself. As he would just chuckle a little bit darkly, and I gulp a bit, and he was like, as you wish, trainer. And I hear the sound of something landing on a branch. As I look behind me, my eyes widen, and I say, you're a, and he goes, a Greninja, yes. But he goes, but you're shiny. How are you? You're not supposed to be in this region. Who's your master? Which, I was based somehow could tell Greninja's smiling, even though it's behind the tongue. He goes, oh, he loved the name you called him, Apocalypse. Which I blink and I get into a fighting stance as, like, Apocalypse sent you? No, he made you. Which, he nods. He goes, now, boy. He jumps down off the tree, landed on the ground, and goes like, let's see what you can do. And I basically give an order to Pikachu use Thunderbolt, and then tell, Gyarados to use, basically, Dragon Rage. Pikachu uses a Thunderbolt, and Gyarados then sends out the Dragon Rage. And this shiny Greninja suddenly brings out a Water Shuriken, throws it at Pikachu's Thunderbolt. Then basically uses, I would say, close combat with Shuriken to cut through the Dragon Rage attack made by Gyarados, which I blink in shock. I'm like, okay, that's bad. As basically Rotom showed me the level, the level was higher than my current Pokemon team. Level 60. I'm like, oh crap, we're fucked. Which, Rotom's like, no crap we're not. And so, the Greninja smirks, he goes like, what will you do now, trainer? Tell me. As I tell Pikachu to use Quick Attack, and then use Iron Tail, and use your Thunderbolt. But instead of launching your Thunderbolt, hold on to it and transfer to your Iron Tail. Which Pikachu will nod and do that. And when it happens, Pikachu rushes forward with a silver light falling behind him. The Thunderbolt that Pikachu is holding will transfer into the Iron Tail to then jump up and swing at the Greninja. Yes, shiny Greninja, as he uses basically close combat to fight against, Pikachu. As then I tell Raticate to use Tail Whip, Charmeleon to use Scary Face, and Smokescreen, and Nidorino to use Leer, and Primeape to use Leer. In which they will do so. I tell Pikachu to get out of the way and jump back, use Thunder Wave, and then after that use Tail Whip. As that would, I bring down its stats very much with that. As the Thunder Wave would paralyze Greninja, and he goes, I should have never underestimated you. As then I tell Pikachu to use Double Team. As there's multiple versions of Pikachu all around in the trees. As now I smirk and I'm like, looks like this done for you. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt! And because of the Double Team, multiple images of Pikachu, that means multiple Thunderbolts, not Thunder Beam, I meant to say Thunderbolt. As multiple different Thunderbolts go at this Greninja, he says, enough! He fights through the paralyze, which I'm blinking, I'm like, wait, what is he? As what happens next is, instead of basically a water pulse or anything that would do with water, there's a whole bunch of water though in this Greninja's hand above it. As when he slams into the ground, he goes, water wave! And it's basically just a whole entire basically water of dark water just hits the ground, sends all the double teams away, hits the real Pikachu, hits all my team, as they all scream out pain, hits me, sends me flying into a tree as I hit, as I'm on my knees, coughing. Well, I'm on my knees and I'm groaning in pain, as Pikachu slowly get up because what the, which I basically cough a bit. I'm like, I should have figured a Pokemon like you should have something up your sleeve. As I get up slowly, as the Grinner's scowl says, you're more annoying than I thought. I thought you were just like that Ash Ketchum, but it seems you're not. You're more strategic, it seems. As I smirk, I'm like, well, yeah, I am. Got a problem with that? Which he nods. So, as some of my rock types try to get up, including the Onyx, which I haven't told it to fight, because it probably would try to use a rock throw, along with Gravel. Yeah, Graveler, I meant. Which he basically would, not him, but the Greninja Shiny would just use close combat, smash through the rocks. Which they're just, scowling at it, as Gravel says, I won't let you hurt him. As all my Pokemon nod and get up slowly, especially, Rex, as he's at, him basically having his claws out turn metal. He was like, if you want to mess with Soul, you mess with all of us. As they all move in front of me, I'm like, guys. Which the Shiny Greninja says, then you will die. As it holds out its hand, as water is starting to form in it. As my eyes widen, because that's not a normal water type move. As it's like curse underneath my breath, because of course Apocalypse will allow him to have, to do anything. As basically, I hear the Shining Greninja says, perish with your trainer, you weak Pokemon. As he launches out the attack. And the attack is very fierce. It's like a Dragon Rage mixed with it's like a Dragon Rage that's water type. As, yes, it would basically say Water Dragon Rage. Me, knowing my Pokemon can't handle it, suddenly rush forward, and in an instant, basically, I try to think of something, anything. As the only thing I can think of is, is from Lucario, as there's Bone Rush, and that's a Steel type move. As I basically focus my aura into my hands, both of them, as I say, I can only use fighting type moves, but I don't care at this moment. Come on, come on! As I keep on trying to focus, as when I got in front of my Pokemon, they all scream out my name, and then I force myself to use Bone Rush. As two bones appeared, as I, hit basically the Water Dragon Rage, with the Bone Rush making an X motion, as they saw him blocking it, as I basically feel my aura keep rising, as I'm like, I'm not going to let you win! As the Shiny Greninja's blinking, he was like, what? How? As all of a sudden, the aura then, while my aura is flaring, some of it's being transferred into the Bone Rush, as then it starts to get coated into fire. As I slash right through both the Water Dragon Rage. As then I look at basically the Shiny Greninja, as my eyes are glowing, as I glare at it. I use Quick Attack, which surprises this Greninja, because he will basically use, well, agility, as then I'm appearing right next to it, which is shocking because I should not be able to move so quickly with that. As I then use it, because then he realized I'm using quick attack and agility. Because like, how are you? As I hit it with a bone rush, multiple times over, basically, hit in the head, hit in the side, the right leg, and then the throat. Basically, as I then send it flying downwards. As I would land, as I'd be wincing because I'm forcing my body to use moves I can't use. I'm basically legit making myself do these moves. As the bone rush disappears, as I put my hands together, and I literally say to myself, you think you can win against me? You're dead wrong. I just got a home in this world. I'm not gonna let my new dad be alone. So, as all of a sudden, all the aura that's basically raining off my body then goes into a ball. As the Greninja Shiny scan up, well, yeah, Shiny Greninja scan up, he's like, yo, yours is an aura sphere? As it looks up and it sees it's not a normal one. I'm like, take this! As I launch the aura sphere. Next thing you know, I see then Pikachu takes off its, scarf bandana and throws it forward, it looks like. But no, something comes off of it as he smirks. He was like, you're never gonna win against us. As when this distracts the shiny Greninja. As he looks back, and right then and there, his eyes widen because he recognizes the symbols that was on the scarf bandana. He goes, you can't be from that! But then the paralyzation hits as Pikachu says, I am. Or at least my partner was. And by the way, boom. Which, right when he said that, the Aura Sphere hits the Greninja, sends it flying forward as it launches into the Aura symbol. Aura basically symbols. Okay, imagine this is basically a multiple symbols in the air. They're all basically are like runes all together. And basically, they then purify any Pokemon that was from Apocalypse that made. But in this case, this one is different. Well, not this one. This Greninja was different. Because it won't be just a normal thing. Which, that's what, Pikachu's old trainer says. It's supposed to purify any Pokemon from the dark Pokemon. As what happens is, when Greninja goes through it, it changes. All that dark energy it was made of is gone. As it hits a tree and goes, I lost to some weaklings. I truly underestimated you. And it looks like, as basically Greninja looks at, Shiny Greninja looks at me, goes like, which I'm looking at it, and then it finishes what it says. It goes like, you're not an ordinary trainer. No one can use Pokemon moves like that. Not like what you just did. Which I just smirk and goes like, I am someone who has turned into a hybrid, you can say, I guess. Half Pokemon, half human. As I do cough a bit, as he goes, no. You're able to use Aura. As particles are coming off of this shiny Greninja, which allows you to use Pokemon moves, which I'm just blinking. He goes, you're not a hybrid yet. Which I'm like, huh? What you, as if puts his hand forward, as all of a sudden, all the particles that was coming off of him suddenly flies towards me. As it basically all hits my body as it smirks. He goes, I may be dying, but I'll live for you. Like any other Pokemon that Apocalypse made that has not been around to stabilize itself for many years. As it just smirks, as it starts to fade away, with the last bit of particles hitting me, as when that happens, all of a sudden, I basically feel something off as my aura starts to flare up and skyrockets up into the air. As this is shocking to everyone. Arceus is watching this from his area as he's in shock. He goes, "That's impossible. I know I made sure he can use Pokemon moves, but only fighting type. What has Apocalypse done?" As basically Pikachu says, this wasn't right. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to... Wait, it hasn't stabilized itself yet. That means... Oh, crap, it was unstable. So, while that's happening, I'm feeling my whole entire body change as I'm screaming out in pain. I'm holding my head and I'm on the ground, hitting it. Because it's painful. Like, imagine your whole entire body being shredded, changed, reformed, shredded again, over and over again. As your body is adapting to it. Because your aura basically is something that you did not know, not even Arceus. Is the fact is, imagine you have an adaptability, you're able to easily adapt to certain situations in your life, and then basically your aura that can do that too. But instead your aura takes that to a whole new level of adaptability. And so that's what's happening with mine. Because that's how I am. I can adapt to certain situations and just be okay with some stuff. So I kind of figured I could use that within my, with aura. So yeah, I kind of was going to do this anyways. The reason why, because I kind of try to figure out how can I make this better, and it is the only thing I can come up with. But anyways, so while that is happening, basically all of a sudden every Pokemon gets Rotom puts every Pokemon back as Pikachu gets put into his Pokeball, as Avery has its bandana / scarf around, and a lot of other legendary Pokemon are sensing something. But meanwhile, in a base in Kanto, somewhere, where you're like, "Sir, we're detecting an unusual high aura," which this man, hearing, look at the screen, goes, "Hey, where's it coming from?" "Viridian Forest, sir." He goes, "Is it a legendary?" He goes, I don't know, sir. It's just skyrocketing. Meanwhile, though, skyrocketing. As we go back to me, it's all my Pokeballs are back onto my belt, and basically Rotom goes into the bag. As all of a sudden, when the aura stops, I get up, and I'm not fully awake or fully there. I just grabbed the bag and immediately jumped up. Rotom could see basically I look totally different as all of a sudden I disappear into water. Like, water basically shot from the ground, hit me, and I'm gone. We basically then go to where Tentacruel is with Pikachu, Pidgeotto, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. Well, all their Pokemon are from Brock and Misty. And Ash, Brock, and Misty are there. So, Pikachu is, basically trying to communicate with Tentacruel, which is Big Giant because of Team Rocket. So, Meowth is basically being able to used as a communicator, while we have Jesse and James, who are somewhere nearby. As Pikachu is about to be hit, as all of a sudden, multiple different water shurikens hit Tentacruel. As it looks over when Meowth says because he's being controlled by Tentacruel, it's like, "Hola, heal." Which, basically, everyone just sees someone, because Misty was about to even shout out, so she's on top of a rooftop, as they see someone on top of a pole from basically on a building, just looking down at them, as it's glaring, they can't really see well due to the light, as Ash goes like, "Who's that?" And then all of a sudden, basically the person jumps off, and immediately uses close combat, foot glowing, slamming into the Tentacruel, send the body down to the ground, jumping off at the tentacle body, landing. Everyone can see basically looks like a human, but also looks like a Pokemon, as everyone's just blinking. Because what it looks like is someone with basically ninja-like clothing. But remember, it was a shiny Greninja, so if I remember correctly, it was black and light blue. Let me double check. Yeah, black and light blue. So basically, imagine a Greninja with human clothing on, looking more human. Hair is still spiked up. No, hair's spiked up exactly the same way. Basically. And such. So yeah. So ninja-like clothing on. Still basically have, well, hands now have basically gloves on with the lead fingers, and the top has those circles on it, along with basically everywhere else. As everyone is shocked, as Tender Cool goes like, "What are you?" You know, from Meowth as, "I'm saying nothing." As I basically then just swipe my hands across my side, having two cone eyes, as basically then they're coated into, well, coated, well, with glowing light, as then all of a sudden there's steel type energy going into it. Get into a running start and dashes towards it with agility and quick attack. And immediately, multiple slashes are going onto the tentacle, and then taking it away by using water and send it flying. Basically towards the ocean as I land on top of the water, as Tentacool, the giant one, is glaring as I basically... By the way, I have no idea what I'm doing. All I know is I am doing something impossible. So, I basically then have my hands into the ram sign, like what Naruto, how basically to control chakra, in this case is aura, as I basically put both of them together, one being held by the other in the center of my hand, as all of a sudden a large amount of aura is basically being not seen by anyone, but being shot out throughout the seawater in the city, as then all of a sudden 3 heads of a dragon start to come off of the water. And forming. They're rising up. Everyone is shocked. As everyone hears me say, in a rough, forced voice, sounding like I can't really talk, but the Pokemon can understand it too. As I say, leave. They understand. As Tentacruel is panicking because there's a huge amount of water. As, basically forming 3 dragons just glaring down at it. Bigger than it. As Tentacruel says, "We will not leave. We must show them that we will not take what they've done to our home." And, that, if you guys don't know, there was basically this, woman, I think, called Stefina, wanted to get rid of the tentacles. She appears like, "You listen here, you!" As she looks over, as she sees the big giant water dragons, as I just appear, basically cater towards the tentacruel. Tentacruel smacks her away, as basically I'm holding up one finger now above my head, and I'm slowly bringing it down. As the dragons are basically about to lunge at it, the tentacle says, we'll leave, but if the humans do this again to our home, we'll come back and finish the job." So, they throw Meowth away. He hits basically the amusement park. The amusement park is crumbling when Jesse and James are. And when basically all the tentacruel and tentacles leave, I send all the water back into the sea. And let's just say I did not aim for any of the Pokemon, but where the hotel was going to be. As that's destroyed, and the Tentacruel's home is now can be rebuilt or fixed over time. As I was in shock, basically staggering a bit, shaking my head, as I say, I need to leave. Yes. So, I jump up into the air, and immediately a water dragon head comes up, bites down onto me as I'm gone. Because the water dispersed. No one knows what happened. Ash did have the Pokédex out, and it says unknown Pokemon, in which Pikachu's blinking, and he goes like, Pika? But it actually goes like, what was that? Ash doesn't know what's going on. He was like, what was that Pokemon? Everyone's so confused. With me, I land right out of God, hold up. Okay, as I said, I land in on the outskirts of Cerulean City in the forest, as I hit a tree with my backpack. As all of a sudden I G-transform with a light, blue glow, as I basically am in and out of consciousness. When I hit the ground, I'm like, what happened? How did I do that? And I'm knocked out. Now, the fact is, nobody knows what happened in that city. I forgot, Island of Polina, whatever. So it starts with a P. But yeah. So, because of that whole entire what I did, everyone doesn't know who that Pokemon was or anything. Now, with the legendaries, a lot of legendaries sense all of that. The ones that were on the planet, not in the other dimension like Giratina. Or the time and space Pokemon. I forgot their names, but anyways. So, what happens is Mew even sensed it. So, Mew is rushing over to Kanto, thinking to, I'm gonna make Mew a her in this one, thinking to herself, what was that? How did that even happen? No human should have had that, but that didn't sound like, sounds like a aura of a Pokemon, but a human too. And she's flying over very quickly. Team Rocket, main base. It was basically, you should already known. They're the only Kanto people there, but anyways. Says, sir, we lost reading of it in the Viridian Forest. It disappeared and appeared in this location on the island where Jesse, James, and Meowth were located. Which he will nod. So, while I'm being knocked out, all my Pokemon appear out of their Pokeballs looking worried at me. Rotom says, I got the recording of it. You would never believe what he did. Before they showed anything, all of a sudden they see something glowing on my arm, my left one. A blue water drop marking his glowing. As suddenly they see the shiny Greninja looks all water-like, but then turns solid. As he's leaning on the tree nearby, right next to the tree I'm laying. Well, my back is towards, having its eyes closed. As everyone gets into a fighting stance, and Pikachu is like, what happened to you? Which, Shiny Greninja says this, I'm only here to protect him. That's all. He's like, huh? What do you mean? He goes, you'll find out soon. So, he closes his eyes and everyone waits. Now, a few minutes pass. He suddenly opens up his eyes and immediately close combat, happens with shurikens appearing on his hand with water, and all of a sudden they glow in, white, the blades, but then they also have silver type energy, steel type energy going into it. As then Mew appears, and he appears right in front of all the Pokemon. He says, I do not know why you're here, Mew, but I'm not going to allow you to harm them or him. After all, suddenly he transforms into what I looked like when I was a Pokemon, which everyone bullies goes because his Pokemon are my Pokemon, and I won't let you hurt my friends. And before anything can happen, that's why I'm leaving it off. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. I gotta get going, everyone. Have a nice day, night, wherever you are. Bye. I'll have this uploaded by sometime today. And I need to watch more Pokemon episodes, so I basically have myself knocked out for like 2 days or so, just so Ash could get to the Sephiron City. So, yeah. Alright. So, bye everyone. Have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.